Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan here at the Life of Tillmans. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about our February. So I'm giving you a recap of February and then what I am looking at now that it is March and moving toward the end of the school year. Like I'm in planning mode. So I'm going to share all the details of that. So first thing is January recap. I talked to you guys in the January video about how we had kind of just been struggling to really get back on track almost the entire school year. I feel like once volleyball season was over, typically we get back on track and we're doing well. That was not the case this year. And it is showing. It has shown up in the progress of specific curriculums. And so we are doing well now, though. We're getting back on track. We are back on track, is what I'll say. Not getting. We are back on track. We definitely have had to make some adjustments, and it is really causing us to have to push toward the end of the school year, but we are committed to doing that. And so this is just a lesson learned, kind of the way things go when you're in the middle of the year. Then you realize like this is not going as planned. You got to pivot, you got to dig deep and really get into fixing the mess up, I'll say, that you've made throughout the year. And so that's just kind of how things are going for us. But we're in a really good place, and I'm really proud about that. And I'll say, like, the name of the game is consistency. And we have been consistent over the last month of doing the things that we need to do, finishing what we need to finish. Even if we are having to do things on the weekend, that's just the way our lives are going right now. All right, so next thing is February. Let's talk about curriculum updates. I am going to start with my oldest daughter, and I had to take notes because a lot has been going on and changed. So if you see me looking at notes, you got my paper, and I have my paper, just know that's what I'm working on. Surprisingly, we are actually back on track for my older two daughters to finish everything by the end of May. And in full transparency, we are not on track with our science curriculum. We are pretty behind in that curriculum. We are having to do science on the weekends. Sometimes we do 2 lessons depending on the day and if we have that amount of time to do so. At this point, we're not necessarily skipping anything, but I am looking to move forward with the science curriculum and possibly take out a couple of chapters. Science kind of repeats itself. We've gone over a lot of science in the last 7 years. And so there may be some units of this curriculum that we don't finish. Otherwise, it kind of just sets us back a little bit further with getting to the next level. And I have an 8th grader coming up, and it's imperative that we stay on track with that. I'm going to look at that a little bit closer to make sure that that's something that we want to do. And I know some people are going to say, finish the curriculum. It doesn't matter when you start the next one. And there are going to be other people that are like, yeah, you don't have to do everything. So I'm in between on both of those. I feel like there are times where we need to complete everything so that we can progress to the next level and not have any gaps. And then there are other subjects where I don't necessarily feel like that has to happen. Science repeats itself constantly in a lot of different things in different stages of our children's education. So it's kind of one of those things where I feel like we would be okay if we cut out a couple of units in order to make up for the time so that we are not running into the start of what we have as our next school year doing the curriculum before, when we could just move to the next one and not really miss a ton of information or things that are going to carry over into the next science curriculum subject line. So I'm still in the process of thinking about that. But so far, for everything else, we are on track. I'm going to talk specifically about my 7th grader and some things that she completed. She finished word roots level 1 in January. I believe it was maybe toward the end of January. She also finished the sentence diagramming by the Critical Thinking Company. So those things are off of her plate. She's still doing everything else. So just a quick recap. She has Saxon Math 8-7, which is their pre-algebra course. She is also doing the MosDos Press for reading. She has Editor-in-Chief by the Critical Thinking Company that she is also doing. I don't think what else. Then we have Knotgrass from Adam to Us, which is for both of my older girls. And we are doing that in a 2-year time span. It is their world history for middle school curriculum. And I cannot think of anything else that she's doing. Oh, IEW for writing is also what she is doing. For grammar, she is doing the Easy Grammar Ultimate Series grade level 8. That is everything that she is doing every day. And then we have Berean Builder Science. So she's on track for everything, like I said, but science. And she's also like slowly knocking things out. She is not doing a vocabulary curriculum right now. She does still have vocabulary that comes along with her IEW and also the MosDos Press reading curriculum. So she's still getting vocabulary and using those vocabulary words for spelling. So we're still getting it. We're just not using a formal vocabulary curriculum for her. Okay, now for my sixth grader. She completed Easy Grammar grade 5 and a recap on why she's in sixth grade doing grade 5. People always ask me that, so I just like to share it. But we were using Winston Grammar. It got too difficult. We switched over to Easy Grammar, and that kind of put her like a half a year, I say, behind. But she's really not behind because she just switched back to Winston Grammar. So she will finish the Winston Grammar program by the end of her sixth grade year, and then she will move on to the next level of Winston Grammar, which is for, I believe, eighth graders. So she is technically going to be a year ahead, but she just needed to grasp some other concepts before she could move on in the Winston Grammar Basic program. So she's right back on track. See how that works? It's so easy, guys. She finished that, and then she also finished Wordly Wise level 5. And that was just an extra curriculum that we had that I had purchased some years back. And I thought, let's just use that for your vocabulary. She wanted to go to it. So that's what she did for vocabulary. She is now done with that. So what she's doing for vocabulary now is she takes vocabulary words from her reading curriculum, which is a Spectrum sixth grade reading book, and she uses that for vocabulary and spelling. Hope that makes sense for you guys. She is also not doing any writing right now. She does a little bit of journaling, but she will be starting a different writing curriculum for her sixth grade year. She finished Master Books writing curriculum, like beginning level 2. It was called Writing Strands. She finished that back in the fall, and then we just did not pick up with another writing curriculum. She has really been focusing on reading comprehension, which has been working out great for her. She also finished the sentence diagramming, and she has since moved on to Inference Jones, which is another critical thinking company book that we already had. So she's working through that, and she'll be done with that by the end of the school year. Going back to my seventh grader, she also is doing analogies now from the critical thinking company instead of the sentence diagramming. So we're just kind of shuffling in things that we already have, just little areas that the girls need to brush up on, tighten up on a little bit. And it's already items that we have within our homeschool. So I have not purchased anything new. These are things that we've had over the last couple of years. I like to use what I have if I absolutely can, because buying more stuff just gets more expensive. So that is the update on my sixth grader. Now let's get into my second grader. She has been using the Logic of English Foundations program. She is currently in Foundations D. We started Foundations D, I believe, back in December, somewhere along there. But it has been really slow moving, and this has been intentional. She needs more time reading, and so we are spending a lot of time every single day reading. So on average for the Logic of English curriculum, we are spending about, or doing about 1.5 lessons per week. Typically, people do 2 lessons per week, so it's taking us a little bit longer, and that's an average. So some weeks we only get through maybe half of a lesson, and then sometimes we do the 1.5 lessons. It really just depends on where we're focusing for her reading, but we are doing a lot of reading every single day because that is what she needs to continue moving forward. So we have a really long time. I say that we have several weeks before she will be done with that Logic of English Foundations D curriculum. However, my goal for her is progress. And that is all I'm looking for at this moment. And she is continually progressing at the pace that she needs, I believe. And so the reading is something that she needed additional time to work on. If she can't grasp that portion, it makes everything else more challenging. And she is taking it on like a champ. Some days she's like, this is hard, I'm really struggling. And other days she's like, I'm doing so good, I'm really proud of myself. And so I just encourage her however she is feeling, but we are spending a lot of time reading every single day. Saturdays and Sundays too, you guys. Like when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week. Same thing with math. She is doing Math with Confidence level 2, and it has been slow moving in that because we are really trying to concentrate on her understanding math facts and being able to recall those a little bit faster. I'm not talking about speed math, you guys, but she has just been really slow to understand and be able to get the math facts down and commit those to memory. It's been fun though. We have lots of different avenues to work on that. And so every day I choose something different for us to work on the math facts. And she is loving doing that. But with the Math with Confidence curriculum, it says at the beginning of every unit, like if your child is struggling with grasping these nines or these eights or these sevens, spend a little bit more time. So typically between units, we are spending about a week to just do math facts, just play math fact games, card games, things like that. And then we'll move on to the next unit, which is why it's taking us a little bit longer. I see progress. I said this already, but I see progress every day with her. I see progress not only in what she is able to do, her performance in education, but her attitude and how she looks at what she is doing. And that progress is what lets me know that we are doing exactly what we need to be doing for her at this stage of her learning. And we will keep doing that until we get to the point to where we can move on to whatever the next curriculum is for her. So those are things that I'm thinking about. But just to give you dates and ideas, we are looking at her finishing both of those, the Math with Confidence Level 2 and Foundations D, around the end of July, maybe mid August, if we continue on the path that we are on right now. So that's where we are with her. As far as science, she's doing Berean Builders, science in the beginning, and we are averaging about one science lesson per week. Sometimes we will do 3 in a week. Sometimes we won't do any one week at all. Then we'll do one. That's why I said on average. But she's enjoying it. It's going really well. I am looking to incorporate some other things into her third grade year, and I will keep you guys updated on that. So make sure you stick around because, this is curriculum season. So all things curriculum are starting to come out, and I'm really thinking a lot about that. So that moves me to future plans. I have an eighth grader coming up. Like she's going to be in the eighth grade. And that is a lot. It's a lot of planning, you guys, because I'm not just looking at her eighth grade year. I'm looking at eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, where she potentially is looking for college, what she wants to go to college for, like all the things. And this is not like a pressure on her. It's just kind of trying to plan things out. This is when we really have to start doing it. This is when I started when I was in school. And so we're working through that. What curriculum path are we going to be taking? Where are we going to be heavy? Where are some areas in eighth grade year that she'll actually be taking ninth grade courses and what that will look like for graduation, potential for dual enrollment. Okay, so some other things that I'm thinking about for future planning is science and how I'm going to manage science with my two older daughters. And my goal is to keep them both in the same curriculum. So I'll share more on that when I start really planning and doing an actual planning video for you guys. The other things that I'm thinking about are history and geography for my third grader, up and coming third grader, along with what path I'm going to take for ELA for her for third grade once she completes the Foundations D. There are tons of options out there, but I can't quite decide how I want to do that. I'll share more about that one as well. And then math for my rising seventh grader. She is currently taking pre-algebra as a sixth grader. And I'm not really sure what direction I want to go with her as well. Those are some of my thoughts that I am pondering that I will do. I'll do like a curriculum dump video because I think those are so fun and I love the suggestions. I want to hear from you guys because a lot of you guys have been there or you are there right now. And I think collective minds make for great decision making a lot of times. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you stick around. Curriculum stuff's coming out. We have book review videos coming out. And I'm also going to be sharing with you guys how I'm encouraging my second grader to read, which has been such a delight to see in her. See y'all later.